and we'll have more from Bianca coming up later in the show.
And we continue our live team coverage right now. We want to send things out to 12 News journalist Sean Rice, who's live at ASU.
All right, Sean, you know, I went to a couple of different Donald Trump rallies where I have to tell you, Charlie Kirk was the best received, I think, out of anybody outside of the president himself and the president-elect at the time. Obviously, he had a big impact on his followers, and I know he had a following out there at ASU.
Right. Yeah, Troy and Tram, you're absolutely right. This was one of the most visible, I think, political figures on college campuses across the country. He made it a point, because he lives here in the Valley, he's called it his home for the last 10 years, to come specifically here to Arizona State University. And I got to tell you, it was nearly a year ago, right in the heat of an election season, when Charlie Kirk was here, right behind me on the campus of Arizona State University. The crowd was large during one of his Turning Point USA events and Turning Point Action events, and the civil debate was heated, as it always was, but I gotta tell you, it was always peaceful. He always made it a point to make it peaceful. And I spoke to a man today who told me that is what Charlie loved to do most, was come here on to college campuses and engage in that kind of debate. Now, this is the man I spoke with. This right here is Carson Carpenter. He is just a recent Arizona State University graduate. He was previously the president of the Arizona Republicans group here on campus. He shared some photos of that day last September, as I mentioned, in the heat of an election season, when Kirk spoke to students here on campus. He asked and answered a lot of questions and engaged in that debate with students. Carpenter also works for Turning Point Action, and he last saw Kirk in person last month at their Valley headquarters. This is what Carpenter remembers about how their last conversation went. Take a listen.
He spent a majority of his time just talking about the joy he has when he's able to go home to his family and just see them every evening. And, you know, he was talking about, you know, the impact that he makes, but it sounded like the most important thing that he was most accomplished for was being a good dad to his beautiful children.
And Carson also showed us this picture right here. This is a picture he took with Charlie Kirk back in 2023. This was at an annual America Fest event that Charlie and his group Turning Point USA puts on in downtown Phoenix annually. At the time, the young college student was just getting involved in politics, and he didn't really think that Charlie Kirk would remember who he was from just a few previous conversations, but boy was he wrong. Charlie immediately recalled their prior conversations and made Carson feel seen in a way, he tells me, he really never has before.
As you can see, smiling ear to ear, just being able to talk about, you know, what he was doing to help the movement and help his cause for everything that he's done. And I think, like, every time he went to a college campus like today, that was his #1 happy place.
And as we wrapped up our conversations today here in Tempe, Carson really made it a point to feel for the students at Utah Valley University. These are students who had to witness this assassination up close and personal because it was so visible earlier this morning. And he just feels for them. As a recent college graduate himself, he knows they certainly have a long road ahead to heal from what they saw. We're live this afternoon in Tempe. Sean Rice, 12 News. Yeah.